Episode 4 of Outlander Season 8 features surprising revelations and character reappearances. Whether it includes Fergus, Claire, or even Brianna, Outlander Season 8 keeps bringing the best stories from the books to life. But one specific plot from Outlander Season 7 is also promised to be resolved in this episode, and we thought we already had that resolution. Rebecca Spence and Ben Schnetzer dissect their roles in the Madison. Even though I am familiar with the novels, the conflict is undoubtedly getting closer for everyone, and as we approach the halfway mark, I am worried about everyone involved. We were promised a particular Fergus plot from the books in Outlander Season 8 Episode 3. Fergus hears something all orphans dream of. Lord John Grey had been informed by Percy Beauchamp that he was looking for Fergus, also known as Claudel Fraser. Fergus has been ignoring the man, it turns out, but Lord John Grey seems to persuade him to at least listen to him, and as a result, he finds someone amazing. As Fergus later informs Marsali, I'm not referring to the dream that every orphan has. Fergus discovers that he is the secret child of a wealthy man or lady, something that many orphans of that era would have dreamed of. Not only is he purportedly the son of Amélie Beauchamp and the Comte Saint-Germain, but they were secretly wed before to his birth. How did Amélie get into a brothel, then? Percy goes into great depth, but we didn't really need it. We only needed to verify that the Comte was as bad as he was in Season 2 of Outlander. A child would have probably interfered with his self-centeredness and greed. However, it's difficult not to feel sorry for Fergus. Fergus turns to Marsali after discovering the truth, which includes the fact that he is the heir to wealth and territory and that the Comte is regarded as dead. They continue to be close and serve as each other's sounding boards. It's amazing to see that they have recovered this strength following the horrors of Outlander Season 6. As I mentioned earlier, I was never excited about Fergus discovering he would have money and land when I discovered this plot would take place. He tells Marsali that he doesn't require any of this or the knowledge that he is the son of a great man. He is already aware that James Fraser is his great man father. That will never be altered by anything. Fergus has always found it difficult to fit in with the Fraser family and the outside world. He has never once taken anything for granted, but he has always desired it. At this point, he feels as though he is betraying Jamie by taking the money and land. I could picture Jamie and Claire encouraging him to act in the best interests of the family as a whole, but there is undoubtedly more to discuss with them. Domboy excels throughout the hour as he navigates the range of emotions he will inevitably experience, but the most crucial aspect of it all was that it all came down to family and loyalty. William and Amanda seem to be rushing everything. One of the issues with Outlander Season 8's 10 episodes is that the plots need to move more quickly. The William and Amanethus plot is definitely feeling the lack of time for a slow-burn romance, which the books can afford. Having said that, I believe William is more to blame for this than Amaranthus. Although I am aware that Amaranthus appears to be involved in some dubious activity in Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, she also appears to be a lady attempting to maintain her position. She is a mother who rushes into courtships and marriages in an attempt to give her kid a stable future. Why would we condemn Amaranthus just because we don't know her when we didn't condemn Claire for her hasty marriage to Lord John Grey in order to save her life? Given the era that Outlander is set in, I want to give this woman the benefit of the doubt, even though there might be more going on and she does appear to be getting over her grief over Ben quickly. William, on the other hand, is racing into this heart first. Although he has found a woman with whom he can be open and honest, their relationship is not ideal. Even so, it's incredible to watch him soften slightly in the presence of Brianna and Amaranthus. He can gradually begin to embrace his true self instead of the title he was brought up with. Although some may argue that the faith plot is taking too long, William's progress isn't actually hampered by it. Instead of using that faith plot for other characters, it would have been used for Claire and Jamie. Ultimately, Starz's episode count forces the writers to accelerate the plot. Even though it's a little dubious, it's just something to embrace and appreciate. A closed-off storyline promise. Ian encounters a Scottish guy searching for Roger and Brianna while Jamie and Ian are out recruiting men for their militia. Naturally, Jamie and Ian worry that it's Rob Cameron as soon as they learn about him, and they're going to make sure Cameron doesn't locate them. I was prepared because there are a lot of concerns concerning Cameron and his ability to go through time, but you can only imagine how shocked I was when Buck showed there. I believe that Outlander Season 8 Episode 2 provided the necessary closure, but now Buck is holding Roger's book. Buck isn't sure what that means, but Cameron will no longer be an issue. I'm prepared for the story that lies ahead. However, I'm glad Outlander hasn't revealed the tale to us yet since Bree and Roger need to hear it. We only know that Buck and Cameron had a run-in, so I have to question whether it means he traveled back to the 1980s before going back to 1779. Although we have witnessed Roger's goodness throughout Outlander Season 7, this particular scene demonstrates it. Buck is so wonderful with Mandy and Jemmy that I'm really glad to see more of him. It was so touching to watch them rush to him and give him a hug that the memory still makes me cry. The greatest scene from Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone was captured by Outlander. The best thing had to be saved until last. I knew we were going to see my favorite section from the 9th book as soon as I saw the stills from this installment. Some of the greatest lines, such "and your little dog, too," were even included. Even though Claire doesn't think highly of Elspeth Cunningham, she finds the woman endearing. Although Elspeth's entrance was harsh, we must keep in mind that, like Amaranthus, she is a woman of her era. It clarifies what she did to Mandy, and Mandy needs to understand how kids behaved in the 1770s. However, we witnessed an entirely other side of Amy when it came to addressing her body, and this scene, in which Claire mends her dislocated shoulder, offers more of it. Elspeth is an experienced and wise woman. Even though she is in excruciating pain, the manner she talks to Fanny reveals a gentler side to her. She has probably become a grouchy old woman due to the grief of losing 2 husbands, a grandson, and possibly her daughter-in-law. She has probably forgotten how to interact with people as a result of moving around with her son and leading an extremely solitary existence. When she does interact with Claire, we observe that the 2 ladies are on the same level and that her advice is gentle. Due to time constraints, I had been concerned that this entire scenario would be shortened or removed from the show altogether, but Outlander managed to make it work, and the episode benefited greatly as a result. Although the program was already powerful, this sequence and the women's bond made it even better. But it's only the quiet before the storm. Elspeth's gaze conveyed the realization that her boy might pose a threat to Claire and Fanny, and Captain Cunningham has plans. She might even be a little afraid of what her son would do to her, though it's unlikely that she would keep quiet if he hurt her, adding to the stress and danger. The only thing that saddens me about Frances Tomalty's portrayal of Elspeth is that she most likely won't be staying for the entire season. Whereby sauerkraut is essential. Frank's book has given Jamie information on the fight that would break the British siege of Savannah, which is the main reason he has altered his mind about Brianna and Roger going into Savannah to fetch guns. They should be secure at Fergus and Marsali's apartment because the colonial army won't prevail and the conflict won't reach the city center. Jem and Mandy will remain on the ridge. They are given a letter by Jamie to send to Lieutenant Colonel Francis Marion, who may be able to assist in arming their fledgling militia. Side note, do you recall the TV series The Swamp Fox? Roger is surprised that it's so formal, but Jamie tells him that their other option is to join Cleveland's Overmountain Men, which he doesn't want to do. They conceal some whiskey and gold bars at the bottom of some sauerkraut casks. And when Bree and Roger go to the city, they tell Marsali and Fergus about their scheme as they reveal their strong gifts. Later, as everyone is having a small drink in the Savannah house's front room, a rock is thrown through the window and the sign outside is torn down. Has anyone discovered that seditious materials are being produced by the print shop? Who knows? Marsali states bluntly that everyone despises them because of their unbiased public-facing work. Just the life of a news printer in these troubled times, says Fergus. An unexpected comeback. After collecting rent, Jamie goes home with some sobering information. The majority of the Fraser's Ridge residents are loyal to England, as Cunningham mentioned. Furthermore, it is unlikely that those who aren't will openly join a militia. Jamie must recruit from outside his property because there aren't enough men to fill a small army, even though he is certain that the Ardsmuir men and a few more will support him. Claire recommends evicting Cunningham, but Jamie argues that this won't resolve the issue and could lead to more serious issues. He goes on to say that even if he doesn't know if Frank's book is true, they still need to be prepared. Ian encounters a man who claims to know Roger and Bree from Scotland as Jamie. Ian and Josiah are recruiting. Jamie immediately suspects Rob Cameron has entered the old chat. However, we discover that the man is actually Buck when Jamie approaches him with his rifle cocked. His purpose is to assure them that Rob Cameron won't be bothering them again. In addition, he wishes to return Roger's wee book. Don't let it fall into the wrong hands a second time. Elspeth Cunningham, meanwhile, shows up at the large mansion one evening when Claire and Fanny are the only ones present. After Claire and Fanny assisted the elderly woman in repositioning her dislocated shoulder, they ask her to stay the night after giving her a small amount of liquor. She quickly becomes around 300% more tolerable when she gets tipsy. Captain Cunningham comes to the big house to collect his mother the next morning. Claire informs him that Jamie is out on business when he asks bluntly where he is. Your house is really lovely. With him gone and you here by yourself, it must seem really empty, he continues ominously. However, Claire refuses to back down, and the Cunninghams eventually depart. Buck is finally brought back to the house by Jamie, who also introduces him to Claire and lets him stay on the ridge for as long as he wants. In the meantime, Ian receives the unsettling news from Rachel that the Native American hamlet where his previous wife and son reside may have been destroyed by a retaliatory raid by the Continental Army up north. Ian, who is devastated, determines right once that he must see for himself. A melancholy Rachel concurs, adding that she and Augie will accompany him. Along the journey, Jamie requests that Ian make a stop at a brothel in Philadelphia to find out what the women there know about Fanny and her family. Jamie then blesses the young family and their travels after Ian vows to return for the fight that Frank's book predicts. The true reason Brianna was invited by Lord John. When Bree shows up at Lord John's house, William and Lord John are delighted, but Amaranthus is quite uncomfortable and flees with Trevor. Bree brings up their common ancestry right away when Lord John leaves them to talk. The day we met in Wilmington, did you know what we were to each other? Asks him. After acknowledging that she did, she expresses regret for keeping it a secret from him. Her apology is accepted with warmth by him. He states, I wouldn't have known how to respond to such a revelation at the time, adding that he still doesn't. Amaranthus is sulkily reading in the gazebo when William finds her later. She spits out that if he wants company, he should go see Brianna. He yells, Brianna is my sister, before going into detail about his convoluted beginnings. She feels relieved. He says to her, I enjoy your company, with a smooth exchange. May I be so bold as to presume you enjoy mine? She acknowledges that he is correct, of course. They then flirt, with her suggesting that he abdicate his title to their firstborn by marrying her. The concept doesn't bother him. That evening, Bree persuades Lord John to acknowledge that although he does want Brianna to depict Trevor and Amaranthus, he primarily invited her to visit Savannah in order to assist William in resolving his conflicting thoughts for Jamie. After all, when she discovered that Big Red was her father, she was also a young adult. He seems suitably embarrassed when she gently chastises him for not telling her the truth, but he reminds her that perhaps neither she nor Roger are being totally honest about their primary reason for coming. Nevertheless, the British man continues, if there's one trait that James Fraser has successfully passed to all his children, it's stubbornness, with a hint of annoyance in his voice. However, he soon breaks down in tears as he admits that he fears William will become lost and struggle to return to himself. Bree is aware that this is a typical fear of parents. Lord John gives her a thank you kiss on the hand as she promises to see what she can do. Side note, I often forget how much I enjoy it when these two have a chance to converse, especially when no one else is there, in both the books and the TV. Excellent job by Sophie Skelton and David Barry. Uncovered, Fergus' biological father. When Fergus and Percy meet, Percy says, I wish to acquaint you with the facts of your birth. Then, to Fergus's great surprise, he reveals that he is the son of Comte Street Germain.